is JJ Solomon.
This Corey Bradshaw, Mr. RTBA. Mr. These boys can't touch me on my worst day. And this is the Spit Bucket Podcast. It's your boy, Mr. RTBA, Mr. 214. Senor Dos, uno cuatro, Senor Dos, 14, Mr. Undeniable, Mr. These boys can't touch me on my worst day. Right here with my partner in crime, my brother from another, JJ Solomon. What's popping, my guy?
What's popping with you, bro? Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day.
Yeah, man. Happy 4th of July. Happy holidays to everybody out there. Hope everybody having a great time with their family and just enjoying the festivities of today.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. We have a special early afternoon episode. We got a very, very special guest. It's a very big week in boxing. Hell, it's a very big month in boxing. So without further ado, man, let's go ahead and introduce our special guest coming back to the Spit Bucket Podcast. Corey, let them know who we got.
Man, we got a legend. We got a GOAT. You know, we got one of the reigning defendants, everything that you could say when it comes to boxing. We got the biggest instigator in boxing. We got the executioner. We got the alien. We got Bernard Hopkins in the building. What's poppin', my guy?
Let's make sure everybody heard that biggest instigator part.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
The biggest instigator in boxing.
Yes, sir.
Happy Independence Day, Bhop.
Yeah, you too, man. Likewise.
Hey, Bhop, got a big fight this week, especially for Golden Boy, y'all as a whole. Got one of your rising stars in Virgil Ortiz versus Stanionis coming up. This is a real evenly contested fight. You hear a lot of people talking Virgil. You hear a lot of people talking Stanionis. That's the beauty of the sport, because you never know until you get in the square circle. Can we get your early thoughts on the promotion leading up to this fight?
Well, first of all, good to see y'all guys, and happy Independence Day to everybody out there in the boxing land in the world. But listen, these are the fights that we've been craving for. We've been talking about. I've been talking about. Spit Bucket been talking about it. And the people that want to see boxing in every weight class take a page out of each moment when we have these matches, these even matches basically, and then take it to the next year, 2024. We're halfway through now, but before we get there, as we mentioned, this Saturday in San Antonio, Texas, it's going down. It's going to be hot, but hotter in the ring. And this is what I say to all the fans of Spit Bucket and boxing: sit back, do everything early, show up, popcorn, butter or not, and enjoy these months leading into 2024. Because whether it's Golden Boy, which it will be, and other promoters who now smelling the coffee of success and doing these fights on this magnitude. And let's not forget, there is a talent behind the big fights that's set up already. Between now and the top of the year, that's leaving room for the number one guy, number two guy to be in that position. And the ones that's fighting now, 2023, is going to be trying to offset, upset, and be in that position. So we got a whole tournament. I'm going to use the word tournament without being organized as one, because you can have multiple companies, promoter companies, are saying, wait a minute, we cannot hide anymore and blame it on this, blame it on that, blame it on this, blame it on that. The fighter right now, the fighters, right now, heard my call on Spit Bucket, heard my cry, and heard my urgency. Dare to be great is not just a saying. It is an act, a behavior that must be shown in every fighter who say or claim that they are in control of their career and that they are not the employee, they are the boss, they are the ones that cause the shots. So now they are put in a position to tell the advisor, promoter, manager, consultant, whatever name they hide under, they must now answer the call, because the fighters today, not all, but more than yesterday, are saying, hell with that. I want to prove I'm the best. If I got one belt, I want undisputed. That means I got to get the next 3 belts. So this is the urgency that I feel and talk to fighters. And trust me, all of them ain't from Golden Boy. I made that clear to my company, but I get calls and I'm like, hey, you got to sign something, because I don't know why you calling. And some I pick and choose, but they want to fight the best fighters. Whether they calling me to say, look, I want to fight such and such from your camp. Can you make that happen, Bhop?
So
where is your representation? Are you your representation? If not, then I need to know who your representation is, and let's get it done. So I am just as happy and also pleased that the media, social media that's on board without even being organized, just the right damn thing to do, is in their own way, their own style, but they saying the same thing that we all saying. And again, it's not patriotism. I'm being real. Thanks to Spit Bucket, thanks to being bold, and I mean bold in saying and putting the word that we, not y'all, but y'all said what y'all said based on how y'all feel, and let the people that need to talk, whether it's fighters, whether it's this, we can agree to disagree, but if you get it out there, and then the fighters realize that they ain't the best until they get all of the accolades that say they're the best, and it doesn't have to mean they have to be undisputed. We know who the best, the fans know who the best, and all the time when you hear people say the best fighter in the division is the one that makes the most money, that's a lie. That's the best financial person that brings the money, but that's not the best fighter in the division. I was one of the ones in that mix at one time.
Yeah, no doubt.
Don't let nobody fool you. Don't let nobody fool you that the guy that's making the most money in boxing is the best guy in boxing. That's bullshit.
There's no doubt about that, man.
He got a good businessman. He got a good negotiator. If it's not him, but that don't mean you're the best boxer in boxing. That's not Spit Bucket saying it. That's Bhop saying it.
That's Bhop saying it. That's Spit Bucket agreeing with you. At least that's Jason.
We concur.
Yeah, we concur with that. Let's take it back real quick to this weekend's fight, man, because obviously this has been unarguably the biggest year boxing's had in a long time, and we're going right into one of the biggest months boxing's had in a long time. But going back to Virgil and Stanionis, Stanionis coming in undefeated, 15-0, one no contest. These are one of those fights. Virgil's licking his chops. It's been put off a couple of times because of injuries and sicknesses. He's fighting in his backyard, in Texas. Is there, based on y'all's conversation, Stanionis is a dog. We should not be looking past Stanionis. Is there anything that you see yet where Virgil may be looking past him? You know, this is his first shot at a world title. What are your thoughts on what you've seen so far from him?
Listen, Virgil got to take it serious.
Mm-hmm.
This, to me, is the toughest match that Virgil had. Not only talent, which is key, but the moment he's going to hear this interview or going to be told about this interview, this is right now a test for Virgil. This is a test from him. Because think about it. Think about it. Yes, you got to concentrate on what's in front of you. But any fighter that's telling you the truth, including me, can tell you that you know once you get past this one, what's really going to make you in the conversation of greatness, or at least knocking on the door. He want Boots Ennis. He want the next who fighting on the same night.
Yep.
That's no accident. So he going in there with them. Listen, the mentality of this type of atmosphere, fight. Virgil's coming in there with one thing only. Not only win this fight, which is important, that's first, but do it impressively. With the guy that very few people saying, he should beat him. No. I haven't heard nobody say it since the fight's been made. Matter of fact, hey, Bhop, man, I don't know about this one. I'm like, all right, I got guys, like to stab at me, my friends and stuff. Talking about, man, I don't know about that guy. He ain't coming in and lay down. He's not. He can't. He's undefeated. And he fought guys that we all respect. It's not like his record was somewhere that nobody knew about, and he just come up 15, 20 something to know or whatever. This is a fight that can go south, which is not a good thing on our end, or it can go north. We're looking to go north. We're looking to go up to the top. We're looking to make sure that there's no doubt that Virgil is that division, and he got to build from there. But this is the first major test. And look, everybody don't pass the test of this magnitude. We just seen that. We just seen that with Ryan Garcia.
Yep.
Everybody don't pass the test, but I'll tell you what, on Golden Boy side, your ass is getting in there.
Hell yeah.
Wait, listen. I can say when I told you nothing is off record here.
Yeah.
Everybody been put on Golden Boy notice. Oscar, myself, everybody put our guys on notice. Way before we got to this moment, the fighters know. Austin, Kid Austin, all of them, they took it and we ready. We got it. Now they got to go ahead and prove it. Not they got to prove it to themselves. They fans. We're going to enjoy the accolades of the process. So I'm telling you right now, once you get in that position, things are earned, not given. You have to earn it. If you want to come to Golden Boy, or you're trying to get in and you're trying to get in where you fit in, you think it's going to be, we got to, no. You're going to have to fight here. In this house, you're going to have to fight. Nobody's going to have a pacifier in their mouth, carried on. You get 50 fights and you haven't fought nobody. We're not doing that. So you got to be prepared for, they're throwing the guys in, they don't care. No. See, everybody talk this A-side bullshit, or B-side or C-side. That is true when it comes to alphabets. We know where the B starts, we know where the C starts. We definitely know where the A starts. Do you want to be the A?
Hell yeah. But I'm going to ask you something and playing devil's advocate right here, real quick. Because you're saying we're not just going to throw you, can get you to 50 fights and all that. And the first thing that came to my mind was Jaime Munguia, who we saw fight of the year candidate, absolute. I mean, that fight was That fight was a war.
Dog.
A lot of people would argue, huh?
A dog fight.
It was brutal,
I'm sorry,
man. It was brutal. So, you know, there's people just said the moment you said that about 50 fights, that's what people are going to think is Munguia. So, what are your thoughts on that? I see you guys are handling Munguia a little bit different than Kid Austin and a lot of the other prospects you guys have. But what would be the response to that when somebody would bring it up to you?
Watch, look at, study, pay attention to the process, and they will understand. See, my whole thing is, one thing you cannot get tricked into, pleasing everybody.
100%.
You can't please every fan, and every fan can't please every critic or promoter or fighter. They will, but if you do that, then you be doing what they want you to do. You got to do what's right, not only for the fighter, but also for the company. And everybody got to go forward. When you're on the same page with the fighter, his manager, his trainer, and everybody else literally falls in line knowing that this is where we want to go based on strategy, and that's what they want. Because if the fighter don't want it, why I'm doing all this talking?
Yeah, no shit. Mm-hmm.
Listen, Munguia is a dog. Yeah, that fight was a fight that proved that he's able and capable of being there with anybody in that division. And the most important thing is, once you fight of that magnitude, you can't go back and start fighting people that nobody care about. Mm. Once you reach certain plateau and you reach certain talent that you've been fighting, you don't get a bye. You don't get a quote unquote softie. So now the deal's got to be here. The talent got to be here. The atmosphere got to be here. And I know and feel that he's ready even more now. Before the last fight, this one here gave him more, I believe, awareness in his fans, and some fans that wasn't his fans, now they are. And then it laid some questions out, as you mentioned, that now it's a conversation about, well, how great can he be? Or how great is he? None of them fighters are great right now. Great is earned, not given. But right now he has the opportunity to prove amongst all the great Mexican fighters that he wants to be in that conversation one day. It started that fight. Yeah, it started before, but it really started when it comes to this is the second phase now.
Yeah. Time to step it up.
He in the second phase that you can't go nowhere else now. You like you're in the dark alley now. I got you in this alley. You got to rumble.
Yeah, it's a scary place to be, no doubt.
Hey, but speaking of moments, Bernard, you had a lot of moments in your career, right? But like you spoke earlier, Virgil Ortiz or Stanionis, they never had a moment as big as this. And like you said, a lot of people who had moments like this, they didn't pass the test. So what is the fighter's feeling going into a big moment like this with you, such a proven guy who done had a lot of big moments?
Some anxious, that's normal. Some, damn, I finally got here. I'm not going to blow it. And some are going to the bathroom more than they used to go to because then they know it's time. Shut up or put up. Every fighter is different, whether it's the past, present, or now. But they're still a fighter. They had that title. They wanted it, they earned it, and they got here because of a reason. was kicking ass.
Yep.
And they got in position where we talking about them, whether they would Golden Boy or anybody else. Now, you separate the men from the boys. You separate the talk from the bullshit. You separate the real or unreal. This is now the separation of anybody that's good, but talent and the other accolades that come with that is going to be proven from here to next year. Will be a year from now. We're going to see some major fights in basically all the top divisions. And I'm excited for that because it's going to expose. We don't know. It could be from Golden Boy. It could be from Matchroom. It could be from here. Trust me, nobody's exempt from being exposed, whether they was fraud or not, or whether they are fraud. Because this is a moment where nothing else is going to get past the smell test. If you smell and fight like shit, you're going to be treated like shit amongst the fans. Amongst the fans. See, it's always about the win, but we all know when you go in there to try to win and fall short, you won with us. You won with us. You won with us. And let me tell you, very few fighters can recover from getting their feelings hurt by not winning a major match, an important match, or any match where they feel that fight was the fight that made or broke their career. I would have been stopped if I thought that way.
Let me ask you real quick.
This was the fights that, whether controversial or not, but I wanted to prove something. And I think most fighters today think the same way. Like, I dare to be great. I fell short, whether I believe I won or not. Even if I didn't believe I won, I'm going back because I put a good performance on. That to me showed me I'd rather be with that guy than a guy that when he loses, he gives up.
So, and I know we got a lot more to talk about, but when I spoke about moments, you said either you're going to be anxious, you're going to say, I finally arrived, or you're going to be going to the bathroom a lot. Do you have 3 fights in your career where you felt like each one of them?
One of them I felt was the 93 fight with Roy Jones. Not the bathroom part, let me tell you. Wasn't the bathroom part. But it was the anxious part. See, I was anxious where 48 hours before the fight, and this is before the weigh-in, do the math. 1993, RFK Stadium. Riddick Bowe, Jesse Ferguson is the main event. We fighting where at that time, Redskins play at, football. Butch Lewis is my promoter. Murad Muhammad, I believe, was Roy Jones' representation. Roy Jones at that time was a HBO fighter. And he had 2 lawyers called the Levin brothers. The Levins, I might be saying the name right, Levins, was his lawyers. And I knew the whole press conference. I got to meet, shake guys' hands, whatever. And I was watching Roy Jones fight even the amateur. I had about 2 amateur fights, just watching the style. Like I like to break down and look at fights and all that. That's my trainer, Boy Fisher, God rest his soul. He used to always say, watch and study your opponent. I do that to the day. Even as a promoter, I watch film of fighters that's fighting main event fighters or co-main events or people that's like either ready to fight us or we're ready to fight them, just to get my feeling of it, just in case I have to speak on it. But back to me. I seen Roy Jones way before, but when I had to watch him, I said, man, this guy, he's fast, he's strong, he's unorthodox.
Mm-hmm.
He don't do the traditional jab, right hand, left hook from a stance, orthodox or southpaw. I said, damn, I gotta go in there and try to bum rush him real quick, make it dirty, to change at least his demeanor. I got hit with a left hook when we done with this interview, and you look it up, to the liver. From that third or fourth round, I made sure I stayed 4 to 3 feet away from him. No, seriously, yeah. I don't mind saying it. It's out there. So I didn't told the whole world it's out there. So you will see the left hook hit me right here. And I fought like this all the rest of the fight. Like literally, he wasn't getting that shot in no more. I said, yo, listen. And I talked to Roy on the bus at the Hall of Fame. We were on a bus going over to the House of Hall of Fame. And we laughing and talking about our fight, our memories. And I said to him every time we're in that moment, hey, Roy, that left hook, the same one you hit Virgil Hill with. Remember that? Remember do you remember?
Oh yeah, I definitely remember that for sure.
Do you remember the liver shot he hit Virgil Hill with?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why do you think I started hitting people to the liver?
Makes sense. So Oscar De La Hoya could thank Roy Jones for that, then, huh?
Correct. Listen. So again, spit bucket. I'm urging y'all. Get some time. You got some little 2-3 minutes. You know, y'all need to YouTube it. You'll see Roy hit me with that left hand. Watch my demeanor. Since I'm giving you the tip, like I ain't do that. I was locked like this for the next 5 rounds. Roy Jones, he's just different. He's just different. The only way he can be gotten is age slow him down, and he won't, and he couldn't, or will not be doing the same thing, or can do the same thing he was doing, flying across the ring with a left hook, throwing 5 or 6 of them, hands down. You think you can get a quick shot in, then you feel the power. See, one thing about being fast, let me educate everybody. One thing about being fast, a guy will gamble if it's just speed. You can hit me 3 times, I just want to hit you 1. But when you fast and it's power behind it, see, the most dangerous punch that you can get hit with is the one you can't see.
You don't see.
And got some steam behind it. You wake up in the dressing room, coach, I get him next round. The fight is over. The fight, the fight, you be all right.
What happened, coach? What happened, coach?
The fight's over. So I learned from that.
How's it make you feel then? Since we're talking about Roy, man, how's it make you feel? We've kind of touched on this before, but how's it make you feel seeing Roy in exhibitions like he was just this weekend against a bodybuilder? And then, like, how's that make you feel as a Hall of Famer, as somebody who's been in the ring with him, as somebody who's considered great in the sport?
Exploitation to the max. And we all make our decisions the way we feel we need to make them. I'm a Capricorn. Roy is a Capricorn. We share. My birthday is the 15th of January. His is the 16th. I say that to say I know the mentality of being stubborn, and also I know the mentality of being competitive. Just because I'm not boxing anymore any business partner or people I deal with will tell you how competitiveness I am. Like, it's just embedded in me. Maybe because of that month calendar, maybe because that's me. I think it's all above. But when I see, to get back to that, any fighter, especially someone that was in, and I was in his greatness of era, what the fuck is going on?
Well,
And now when you see this, the first thing that I'm asked and thinking, it's a money problem. Then others start digging and thinking, listen, I didn't get a big contract until the twilight of my career that they thought. Roy had about 3 big contracts. I could be wrong, might be 4, but I know he had at least, I'm gonna say 2 to 3. I'm not counting nobody money. I respect him, that's my guy, but at the same token, I see people asking me whether I do a celebrity boxing match. Bernard, have you look good, you look in shape, would you ever, they paying a lot of money in Abu Dhabi? I said, so? I said, to me, I said, one thing for sure, that I am a person that planned ahead. That's what kept me out of the penitentiary for 30 years with the career that would last as long as the world stands. When you do things based on because and not for the cause, you doomed, you done. They're gonna pimp you out. They're gonna flush you out, and you're done. I'm gonna repeat something that Joe Frazier said to me a long time ago at Broad and Glenwood, where the gym that many great fighters came through, even the great Muhammad Ali. The gym is closed, but the gym is there, and his name is there still. He said, quote, you get your brain shook, your money took, and your name on the Undertaker's book.
Damn.
I said, what, Joe? Hey, Jan, watch your money. Watch your money. You get your brain shook, your name took, and you get your money took. You get your brain shook, your money took, and your name on the Undertaker's book. You get your brain shook. I said, what? He said, you get your brain shook, your money took, your name on the Undertaker book. And guess what? Look at the history. Most fighters get their money took. Their brain took first in the ring. Then they get their money took, or they spend their money. And then we go to the funeral and say how important and how great. And I'm not saying boxing is the only sport, but it's the only sport that I know that is more than I heard over the years. I recognize that it exists. So that should be a lesson for anybody, boxing or non-boxing, that you have to understand that you can't gamble recklessly and think you can go back and make up for the things that you was ignorant about. I've been called cheap. I've been called, man, I've been called I don't tip, which I do, but I'm not, listen, just because I spent, say, $100 on a meal with maybe 1 or 2 people, and I don't tip 500,
No.
or I don't tip 300, just because I got it, or I'm Bernard Hopkins, to me that's a babbling idiot.
Yep.
See, I know how to stay in my lane. Like, I got friends, look, I'm in the Hamptons. I got friends got yachts, boats, mentality of old thinking. When I mean old thinking, it's like, yo, like, that's what they like. Now, I don't mind being on there with you every now and then.
Hell yeah.
I would contribute the gas money.
Yeah, that's
But
smart, man.
Hey champ, have you ever think about getting one of these yachts? No. I said no. Look, man. I enjoy life because we're dead longer than we're alive.
Yes.
We're going to be dead more than hold up. You enjoy life because you're going to be dead longer than you're alive. But I believe everything has a moderation to it. Good could become bad if you abuse it. And so I feel like this. If I stay where I'm comfortable, in a mindset, and you surround yourself around people that ain't gonna challenge that to be different, then I don't have to impress nobody. See, the less you know I have, the less chances you ask me for something. So I'm not in this show and tell business. I wasn't brought up like that. My parents didn't have that to even exploit that to me. But through boxing, I got to hobnob with lawyers, politicians, slicksters, Wall Street, gangsters, pimps, hoes. I got to understand this mentality, being in circles of big fights in boxing, loss, wages.
Yeah.
One thing, and I'm going to pick the soundbite on this one. One thing that I see, that I've seen years ago, that I've said many times before, and I'm saying it the first time here. That experience that I went through in my young adult life, 17 to 25, in the streets of Philadelphia. I'm talking about in the streets. All you gotta do is look around, you'll find somebody talking about it. They won't call me Bhop. They won't call me the executioner or the alien. They say who? Heads. They say who heads? You're talking about heads, right? That PhD that I'm not glorifying, but in this red light district of a business that I'm in, if I didn't go through that adolescence of life, I would be just like 90% of the athletes, whether they're on the top or the bottom or in the middle. I would be just as vulnerable and ignorant as they are. One for those streets, not knowing it then, and not even knowing it through my travels to get here. But I said, damn, game recognized game. That's what's giving them a problem.
Yeah.
Because you're not the average. We ain't talking about boxing. We talking about mentality. I am a thinker and a planner, and I have patience to not do what I've done when I went up against Roy Jones in '93. Be anxious. Sometimes you can be so right that it's black and white, but if you move too quick, you can get checkmate.
Oh yeah.
But if you walk down that hill and steady running down that hill, all the sheep and everything else down there, and anything else that you want to get down there because you didn't run excited because they're there, but you sort of creep down there, that is a lesson of patience. You can go down there and get all of them.
We're going to take a break real quick, Jay?
Take a quick break. Yeah. Before we take a break, let's finish up on this card.
Okay.
B-Hop, thanks for all of that, by the way. That was great stuff.
Kid Austin.
Yeah, let's talk real quick. Let's talk about, because there's a lot of stuff going on.
He got a tough matchup. He got a tough matchup.
Tough. You got,
He's supposed to have it. That's
he got a tough matchup. He got a tough matchup. This is a test.
Yeah.
Rhodes will test Kid Austin in this fight.
Was he 28-4, Rhodes?
Right.
He's going to test Kid Austin.
This is the one. This is the one. Like, you got to be glued down to it. But I believe at this stage and level that he's fighting, and who he's fighting is perfect to go to the next level. Like, can you imagine? I'll say before this time next year, but I'm just going to give a little breathing room. This time next year or sooner, not disrespecting anything that's going to happen this Saturday, because we don't know yet. But I know I won't be disappointed when it comes to Kid Austin come this Saturday. Even this moment is going to make him even show his talent even more. See, some fighters, Virgil's one of them. The better person, the better talent the person is, the better that they will show their talent. And when fighters hear this, they're going to understand, the ones that know. Sometimes you can plateau and be here and still look okay, you know, he's ready. But when somebody tests you on a level that you're not used to, or you haven't, in 3 fights, maybe not been tested like that, now we're going to see what you're made of. Let's see what happens now when adversity is on your side, Kid Austin. Do you become a man now? I say he is. I say he is that now. But that's me as a promoter. I'm supposed to say that.
Yep. But this is his moment to show us.
Correct.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he's sitting at 14-0. His knockout percentage is nuts.
He'd be world champion next year. I'm telling y'all right now. Yo, he'd be world champion in 2024. I said it. And I'll apologize to the world if he's not.
I
don't want to look past Lardell Rose. I never do.
I ain't saying look past him.
No, not me. I'm talking about it's leading into the question I'm asking. Because there's been a lot of back and forward going with him.
Don't look past him. We looking through him.
Yeah, okay. But there's been a lot of back and forward going between Keyshawn Davis and, Kid Austin. Is that a potential matchup after this fight? Because, Kid
Austin will fight anybody. But obviously, we know you got to do what you got to do. Then it's not in the conversation. That's the pressure. Well, I'm glad you said that, because that's the extreme pressure on a young fighter who's in position, who wants it, even if he's not ready for it. When people might say he's young, this is a different level. Sometimes you're going to want something because you want it. That don't mean you're ready for it. I believe he's ready for it. There's a lot of people out there believe he's not. Well, that's where it becomes fun. What's the fun part? Let's see him do his thing Saturday. That's still a question mark for some as I've been looking at the odds. Now, assuming he gets past that with flying colors. Now, let's talk about what's next, who he wants. Because when a fighter continues to call somebody out of that magnitude, that mentality, they keep feeding him people that's going to test him and test him and test him, it could become a letdown mentally, emotionally, where he's just going through the emotions of it. This has had to be the springboard to something on that magnitude for the next fight in 2024. Because this fight this year, well, Saturday, will be the setup for 2024.
And that's what I was going to say. So we can expect to see you guys starting to put that pressure on the other lightweights, the other prospects coming up.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. We calling everybody out.
And that's what we want to hear.
We calling everybody out. If we got to talk to their mothers, put their mother on the phone. If we got to talk to their brother, their uncle, their auntie, we put them on the phone. It's time now. I'm telling you. I'm starting it. Listen, I'm starting it even more now than I'm beating the drums. Because to be consistent, it's hard for most people in this business. But to be consistent in the biggest instigator in boxing, they thought I was going to stop with Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. No, I'm going to continue to beat these drums until I cannot beat it anymore. And that will be probably in the late 90s, when I'm 90 years old. And I'm going to continue to beat these drums for the best fighters as long as I'm around. So anybody out there that thinks that he's going to get tired, he's going to stop, he's just trying to do certain fights, no, I'm not. Buckle down, have patience, turn me down if you need to, but I'm not going away.
I love it. Let's take a quick break. We got a lot of boxing to talk about here in a bit.
We all have battles. We fight. We train. We work. We persevere. And we celebrate. We are all one.
I can't do anything if I can't walk in my prosthetic. It's a lot of pain that I feel throughout my day. It can be very intense. Now I just put that balm over it and it will heal up much faster and it will let the callus recover. That's amazing. It is a total game changer. I am hooked. I'm just hooked.
Life is hard. KO makes it better. KOCBD.com.
Check out KOCBD.com. Use that discount code TSB10 for the absolute best in CBD, pain management, recovery, and relief. We are here on this very, very special 4th of July early afternoon episode with none other than friend of the show, Bernard Hopkins, the executioner, the alien, and now the biggest instigator in boxing, responsible for some of the biggest fights of the year, man. We appreciate you coming back on, B-Hop. Got the big fight coming up. Hey, Corey, am I coming in? Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
I got you. I'm good over here.
All right, man. Well, hey, I want to get into – we had some big fight news. First one just kind of bamboozled and shocked everybody this week. Somebody you guys used to formerly work with, and Canelo Alvarez coming out. We thought we were going to see Jamal Charlo after a long layoff, but it looks like it's going to be the little Charlo, 154 undisputed champ. What are your thoughts? How surprised were you? What are your thoughts about Canelo Charlo, man?
Hey, man, I'm not surprised that Jamal is taking on a challenge like that. Jamil, it's Jamil, right?
Jamil is
fighting Jamil. Yeah, he's not fighting the smaller one.
Yeah.
Jamil.
Mm-hmm.
So I say like this, man. I never questioned either brother's heart. They definitely got that. I am a fan, out of respect of the work ethics, and not only that, they definitely have dog in both of them. But let me tell you, Canelo ain't gonna sleep on that moment.
Yeah.
He must hold up. He has to. Let me back it up. If I would tell you who gonna win that fight, if I'm asked right now between Canelo and Jamal, right? It's Jamal, right?
It's Jamel.
Jamel, the smallest one, 154. He has to go up to
168.
where they meeting at?
168.
Yeah.
630, super middleweight. He's going to have to fight Canelo with his legs. He's going to have to look at Canelo's second loss in his career. You know who that was.
Bebo.
And he's going to have to look at the distance and not get baited in. But Canelo is not going to be gun shy of trying to overwhelm and overpower the smaller guy. He's going to be the smaller guy. Come on, y'all. Between the naturally bigger guy, the naturally smaller guy. But the 168 pounds is going to give him some more life, but we don't know the power. We don't know how he function under that weight. See, walking around that weight is one thing with your suit on and your clothes. Mm-hmm. Being that weight in the gym is one thing. Sparring in the gym, preparing for a fight months down the line is one thing. But being in that ring and being in that situation is totally different. Can Jamel work that center of the ring and make it confusing and frustrating for Canelo to try to take his head off, miss some shots? It's going to be a dangerous fight until either it ends or we see a decision going to the smaller guy.
I want to ask both of you guys this. And Corey and I haven't really had a chance to talk about it. We've been crazy busy the past few days. But, you know, of course, everybody's saying Jamel's the smaller Charlo, and they're already almost finding excuses. I think this is a better matchup overall than Canelo versus Jamal because of not just the circumstances. Skill-wise, yeah. You can factor in all the outside the ring distractions. I think this is a better matchup. We've seen Canelo struggle with that athletic boxer that's not just going to stand in front and stay in the pocket, get out. Do y'all? Bhop, I asked you, but IOTBA used to spend a lot of time there in the ring in the gym with Derek, and he knows how Derek runs the camp. Do y'all see a situation where Jamel absolutely shocks the world? Can you see it happening?
Yeah, I can see Jamel doing that. I can see because, first of all, you're going to have a quicker guy, fresher guy when it comes to age and wearing less wear and tear on his body. He's not a young old guy coming in there that's been through some wars, right? Yep. So you bringing all that freshness in there. And then you also got to look at this too, his fight style. And I think that's one of the things that you mentioned in your own way of breaking it down just now. He has those abilities to give Canelo nightmares.
Yep, facts.
See, if I was giving him advice, and definitely he don't need it because to me, he has the person who's gonna give him the best advice that I thought Ryan Garcia should have picked as a teacher. See, not a trainer. You know, I got a difference between teacher and trainer.
Oh, Jamel coached by Derek.
Yes. Say that again.
Jamel coached by Derek James.
Yes. Who?
Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Right. Center the ring. Use his legs. Speed. Don't try to knock Canelo out.
No.
Don't. I'm telling you,
Facts.
in the center of the ring, Canelo is going to do what Canelo always have done and have been great at it. I commit. It's not a bad thing. Look where he at in his life. Look what he's done in the ring. Look at the history he's made. But you stay in the game long enough, people, they get adjusted to how you move. This is a bad matchup for Canelo and a great matchup.
I agree.
On the other end.
IOTBA, what are your thoughts?
I agree with everything Bernard said. And I want to ask you this, Bernard. I love the fact of this fight because you done seen fights before like this in history when you have a great little man against a great big man. Am I correct on that?
Yes. And to me, it's like this. Nobody's talking about Canelo's age. Nobody's talking about, who got one punch knockout over who. And, Canelo's fought 3-4 different weight classes, broke records, set records. But this fight is different in a way of the skill set. And you got to understand this when you look at it this way, because I do. Canelo had a good ride for a long time. It's always a moment, or at least a whisper. Is these the last 3 fights I have left? Is these the last 4 fights on this contract that I have left? Like, this is a big deal. I signed it. These are the fights I want. Every time in history that's been presented to someone, based on my research, one of those fights was a damn nightmare. You don't get 2. Yeah, you don't get 2. You only get 1 out of that 3. That's a nightmare. Did he pick the first one to be the nightmare? Or would it be the second one? Or would it be the third one? This one has a front runner of, damn, do a rematch. If it's a rematch clause, maybe that's one of the 3s. If it's there, who knows? Now, I would look like the smartest person in the world if we wind up in this situation and we having the same thing on the spit bucket, talking about who will win the second one. This fight right here has all the making of a fight that if Canelo wins, he wins by knockout. If it goes 12 rounds, he loses. That's my prediction.
I agree. And
Canelo ain't winning the decision based on ability, based on speed, based on fresher guy. I ain't gonna mention, it ain't got nothing to do with being young. It has something to do with the fire in the belly that's gonna take, and its skill set is gonna take this fight to one of those fights that we've seen every now and then, 10 years, 12 years, whatever. Hagler, Ray Leonard, a shootout, somebody gets knocked down, somebody gets up, somebody gets knocked down again. But this fight, to me, if Canelo wins, he wins by knockout. He loses, he loses by decision.
And speaking of a fire in the belly, and a guy who stand on principle, who from the mean streets of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Shout out to the 215 and Bernard Hopkins yourself. It was a lot of statements that came out surrounding the Ryan Garcia versus Tank fight, how Golden Boy was nowhere around, how y'all left Ryan Garcia abandoned, and the guy who stand on principle like yourself, you let all the smoke be smoke, but you cleared all the smoke when you came out with evidence, visual proof that was cut, no debate. Can you speak on that?
Yeah. You hear that part?
Let me.
Yeah.
Say what?
Yeah, I was just making sure you heard Corey's question. Speak on
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely. I hear rat piss on cotton. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you, man. Was I disappointed? Absolutely. Did I see what was sent to the bodyguard security of Oscars? Yes. Did I know that Oscar was leaving because of that? Absolutely. Did I stay along with Joy, my assistant, and also my security, Akbar Muhammad from Philadelphia, and all the other people that was in that dressing room, his mother, Razzo, Eric Gomez, some of the women, Golden Boy staff was there. Ryan's family, friends, brother. Hour went by. He's showering. He's getting himself together. I believe, during the protocol of the commission, when you fight certain things, you gotta, they need your urine. They need, they need the basic stuff that when we fight is over with. You have to spend time to go through the protocols of the boxing commission. I say that to say what? I was there for almost an hour and some minutes, waiting patiently with no excuse. I would have waited all fucking night if I had to until he came out and greet everyone in that dressing room based on being there when he was out of the shower and out of the commission's care, basically. And for him to come in the dressing room, right over to me, literally grab me, hug me, and say, "I'm sorry."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I'm sorry." And I got more footage I ain't even put out yet. I'm waiting to do that. Just little bits and pieces because I let everybody smoke come out first. I let everybody smoke come out first. And I know that, which he don't know, I know what he don't know, that is Ryan Garcia. That not only is he being used, but he's being played and looked like a fool. Because for you to say that Tank Camp treated you better than we did, and we didn't show up, that video showed that you was a liar, a con man, con me. And I said to Joy, "You got video?" She said, "Yeah." I said, she said, "I was, when I seen him come in, I just saw taping." I never told her to do it. I said, "Show me." She waited a week. It wasn't me. I can't take this credit. Mm-hmm. She waited a week to tell me, based on hearing what was going on in boxing, the gossip, trying to make, or at least doing a good job of making it look like we didn't care. Oscar didn't even know we had film until the last fight. And I said, "Let's sit down, take a deep breath, let the smoke be the smoke." I got phone calls, some I answered, some I didn't answer. You got anything to say? You got anything? And I know who's in the closet. I know who's in the closet manipulating the confused greatest YouTube boxer of all time. And so, hold up, because you're going to get a lot of smoke, and you should. I said it, Bernard Hopkins, I'm easy to find, but not easy to catch. So when he put the lie out there, Sister Joy said, "Salam alaikum." I said, "Wa alaikum salam. Look what I got. You know, I've been taping." I said, "You tape?" She said, "Yeah, I got about 8, 9 clippings of different." We went around the room, he grabbed you up, he said he's sorry. I said, "You got that?" He said, "I'm so don't be sorry for me. We'll be back. You're gonna go back in there, you're gonna rest up, and things happen. You dare to be great." Yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man, yeah, man. I said, it's time to put it out now, since things have sort of cooled down. I said, they don't know we have this. I said, I'm gonna slam them now. I'm gonna do with the executioner. I'm gonna do with what I've told everybody that bet against me when I was active, or even in my life that I would never stay out of the penitentiary as I've done and make a life for myself. I heard the warden, "You'll be back in 6 months." I said, I'm at fight mode right now, but I'm not fighting physically, because they are strategy too. See, your enemy know you better than some know themselves. I said it again. Your enemy know you better than some know themselves. But I'm not one of those sums. And so systematically, as you can go, for those who didn't see this, they can go on Bhop the Alien. They can see all the video, and stay tuned for the 1st of August. I will be putting out 5 more good ones for y'all to see. I'm just letting this rest and get a little grace period in boxing for something else happening, big fights. So I'm gonna keep y'all stimulated, and I'm gonna keep y'all occupied with questions, whether they for us or against us. I just want to keep the boxing world buzzing. So we put what we put out. Y'all seen it. It's there. That's why we're talking about it. I didn't bring it up. I think bringing it up on any platform that I'm on would be an overkill. I have evidence. I have credibility. And one thing for sure, video don't lie.
Yeah. Yep.
You can alter the words. You can stop the sound. But one thing about the video, how you gonna play with that? So they're not, trust me, they're not defeated. They just right now getting their bearings together. Because how we gonna counter that? You can't. See, one thing for sure, y'all. I will not be those who we despise in the promotional business of boxing. That's what I stood on. Oscar stood on the same thing. We hold each other accountable. We might agree to disagree. We have many times, but not often. And that's based on talent, lack of, what I think or what he thinks about this or about that. But at the end of the day, I'm here to make history on how business is done. I believe we need a union in boxing. I believe we need more than just a bill that I stood up for and got a lot of great response from the late Senator McCain and Elliot Spitzer, that boxing has a conflict of interest running rapid. And Golden Boy would never be, from my experience for all these years, people that was, as you mentioned earlier, Golden Boy, PBC, and then it became one entity and one entity. We, by years and by calculation of opinions, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, it wasn't spit bucket then. I'm going back, but not back too far. We not supposed to be here. we supposed to have been buried and gone. And that's what predicted. The prediction was and predicted that we was going to be gone. But we well alive. And not only are we well alive, we got a pulse, heartbeat, and talent. And talent. So guess what? You don't have to like me. I don't have to like you. But one thing for sure, it's going to be difficult to avoid us based on our fire and power that we have in our Golden Boy home. Not stable. See, them motherfuckers over there talking about we got stable. That's one of the fucking reasons that they treat them like they're stables.
Horses.
Because they think that it's something they say because it sounds cute or it sounds intimidating. No, motherfucker, y'all in the stable. Once y'all want to get out of that stable, then we're here. If we choose to do business, then you realize you get out that stable and you get in a position where you're in a safe house that's going to not treat you like you a prima donna safe, but you in a house where you get respected and not treated like you a horse in a stable.
On that note, Bhop, finishing up on the Ryan conversation, you know, I think fans want to know, because we want to know what's going up, what's coming up in Ryan's career. Is this still fixable, or are you guys beyond repair, y'all's relationship?
It's up to Ryan.
Yeah.
But my thing is like this. Like when I say I'm speaking right now, we're doing this Zoom call. I'm speaking how I feel.
Yeah.
I'm not in my feelings. I'm in my thoughts of the last month and some weeks of that moment. And that's what I'm speaking of and on. Because taking a stab at Golden Boy, especially in that way, is taking a stab at me. See, let's get this clear. That's what they heard. When you take a stab at Golden Boy, especially in this situation, where I know what happened weeks leading up to the fights, or days, excuse me, the disrespectful of me and how they try to treat me, even people that I paid for their services and took care of them. I ain't gonna mention no names, but she a female. And she do the organizing, okay.
I know you think I know you too.
But when you disrespect me and say, I don't have a seat at the table, but I didn't make it about me, y'all. I didn't even say anything to Ryan. And I ran past him 2 or 3 times. One was the press conference. Never said nothing to him or Dad, his father. Because I'm professional. It ain't about me. It's about you winning this fight. I could have made a stink when I went to the ring. I can send y'all the video to that. And I spent off when I realized that they was going to try to provoke me. And what it looks like and perceived to be me being hostile amongst thousands of people. And next thing you know, I'm being ushered away off my feet. No. See, this here is a terrible thing. You know, they had that commercial about crack is a terrible thing.
Mine is a terrible thing to waste.
This thing here is a terrible thing to not use.
Yeah.
Not to waste, because if you ain't had it, if you don't got it, you can't never waste it because you never had it. So listen, this is a terrible thing to not use. So when I recognized and understood the hours before the stadium even opened, because of the meetings we had, can't get into that, about what they was attempting to do for the second go around. First it was the press conference. I'm seeing this video. My security, I said, move that I said, move that sponsorship, whatever it was, some big container float over there. I said, move that. I made a seat. If you look at the press conference, I'm on the end of the table.
Yeah, I seen that.
Oh, I posted. You go on the internet, you can see it. Y'all seen it. So when they don't want a seat at the table, I said on Instagram, you make a seat at the table. So they was in their feelings. The shit game was on. I loved it. I didn't make a stink of it. Then I found out through the top security in the arena that they tried to stop me from coming to the fight, but they couldn't because they looked at the tape and the films. Mr. Hopkins is trying to stop them from moving because the stage been breached. And I know how they got up there. They let him up there. And they only let it through from our side. But that's cool. See, because the dog and the 10 guys will always beat the hell out of the people in the other side with 30 people because 20 of those people is going to bitch and run once they see some blood. I already know that. So I ain't worrying about that. I'm stopping because of the commissioner put me up front and say, make sure they don't get past that line because it's a 5 to 6 feet drop off the stage. So as they go, as the stage been breached, because they let them all up there, they moving close to the edge. I'm hollering, watch the edge, look at the video. Go on my Instagram and look at the video. Watch, yo, watch. I'm pointing down, watch. So I said, shit, they can't go. So I went around 2 or 3 people and, hey, watch. Those little text me. You ain't. I hope you're doing all right in that 90 days you're doing. See, he all right. He all right. He all right. He ain't on the block. I guarantee he took 90 days lockdown, which means you go in the joint and they got a place called The Hole. The Hole is where snitches or people that's high profile and politicians or whatever, normally they in the feds. But, or somebody's trying to kill you or you're in protective custody. Now, if you're not in protective custody, that means that you're not in protective custody. I want to know whether the champ in protective custody or the champ walking around on the block. See, the credibility of the tough shit that you talk and the tough shit that people talk, when you go in them joints, I don't care if you from that neighborhood area or what, there's always somebody in there that wants something. How do you tell them no and still keep your respect and integrity? Don't come tell me you got 90 days and you took 90 days to lock up. That means you went to jail and you locked yourself up in jail. How the fuck you do that? Listen, Ryan played himself. Not only do he owe personally me apology, but that's what I want.
Mm-hmm. You deserve it.
And then I still gotta reevaluate, not to take it personal, but I know that I was riding till the wheels fall off, even being disrespected as a promoter, your promoter, and you throw me under the bus. Motherfucker, you ain't gotta say my name. When you say Golden Boy, you say my name.
Yep.
So I don't separate that you calling or anybody else. For a matter of fact, this is for everybody. When you say Oscar, well, I ain't saying about Bernard because Bernard is my dog. No. That's my partner. If I gotta ask him something, I'm gonna ask him and I'm gonna look him in his face and I'm gonna say, tell me the truth first. Then I'm gonna ask you. Then second, we roll as one. Your enemy is my enemy. My enemy is your enemy. I go back to the street rules, but not a street thinking dude. There's a fucking difference. See, the street rules is, look, we going up here. So I haven't forgot that. And I learned in corporate America, they got the same type mentality. It's just presented different. They gonna cover each other back. Look at the fucking promoters. They cover each other back. They hate each other when they need to hate each other, and they love each other when they gotta make money. And save each other ass. And they remind each other what they did. And when they act like it didn't happen, then they become enemies. But at the end of the day, the fighters don't think like that. So I had to explore some things, and then I had to expose some things. Even though I didn't get a call from y'all. I wasn't expecting her. But I'm going to take a chance here. Y'all wasn't surprised when I put that out on social media that I was patient enough to say, oh, it's getting kind of quiet. I don't hear him talking about anything. I wanted to hear the noise. I wanted to hear the smoke. And the smoke was sort of fizzling out like Canada smoke. It was starting to fizzle out like the smoke from Canada coming over here on the East Coast and coming out to the Midwest and the dirty South. So I wanted to bring some buzz back up, and I said, Sister Joy, put those videos out there. Well, she said we should put them out and do it systematically in order. I'm not social media savvy, y'all. I can't take that credit. But y'all, I'm gonna leave with this. Well, was that gangster or what?
That was gangster.
That was gangster.
And it was much respected. I agree with you wholeheartedly. When you talk about Golden Boy, you're not just talking about one person, you're talking to everybody. And I love the fact how you stand on that with your guy up there. Not just Oscar De La Hoya, but everybody who is with Golden Boy Promotions. But this is the last question I have about Ron before we move on and talk to you about the big fight. Being honest, Ron has been with 4 trainers now. He's on his 4th trainer. A fighter could do whatever they want to do. But when you make as many changes as he has made in the past 3 years, 4 years, it done been 4 guys, it's a cause of confusion to me. It shows, it starts to look like, no, the trainer's not the problem. You're the problem. Is that a fair assessment?
I can go a little further. Can I say it in my way, but the same, maybe a little to some people, a little bit more direct?
Yep.
When you go through trainers, like you go through your socks, it's not the trainer. It's you. You have to blame somebody. When you got that mentality and you won't take ownership of the way you move, I respect that more than I respect you hopping the fence every time things get a little rough for you. See, where in history that a fighter was successful with 3 or 4 or 5 trainings on that level? So are you waiting or looking for a trainer or a teacher to get what you don't have right?
Yep.
The trainer or the teacher, just say without confusion, say the trainer, which most are today. They're not teachers. Ryan have a problem with authority to be great of discipline.
Just like you've been saying that.
Discipline. Now, some people could be motivated by this interview and he see it and become disciplined and prove me wrong. Well, whatever works. Glad I helped in some capacity. But let me tell you something. I don't give a damn if it was Buddy McGirt. I don't give a damn if it was any other, and I mentioned Buddy, but I'm saying any other top trainer or who trained, and I'm having a name block right now, but I wanted Ryan to give him a shot.
You talking about Ronnie Shields?
Ronnie Shields.
Correct.
Yeah.
If they asked me, and they did, and earlier we were talking about the trainers, but listen, Ryan has to reevaluate what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you from my experience, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's starting to come down to now, and I sat there and I talked and I supported Ryan, and it's not like I feel totally 100% different now. But one thing I have to pay attention to, and I can't deny having this in the back of my head, way before we had to put out way before the disrespect, and we didn't care for him or did this, whatever, way before that. Some people have it to this level in basketball. Some people have it to that level in basketball, and some people have it here. How many shots do Ryan get to get it right? I don't know, y'all. But I can tell you one thing. The best thing that happened in Ryan's career was the 8 million plus followers that he has.
Hell yeah. No doubt.
And the other side is not supporting why do we have those 8+ million followers. Now that it's been exposed, the conversation now is what we heard years ago, but we gave him a benefit of doubt and say, look, maybe they hating because he got the followers because we ain't that era that we live in.
Me.
Do we go back to the YouTube era fighter? Do we go back to a more front runner? Anybody don't know what front runner is, look it up. But it's not in the dictionary. It's in a history area. Front runner. When you see a talent and it doesn't go past the talent that has been shown and it's been promoted, now is the next level. That separates Ryan Garcia from my partner, Hall of Famer, Oscar De La Hoya. See.
I like that.
Hold up. That separates that moment. And this is, look, this ain't just on winning or losing. Character on what you do next. You're going to fire everybody, mad at everybody, point at everybody, but what did you didn't do?
Facts.
Bhop, tell me what's the difference between Ryan's body shot and De La Hoya's?
2 more hours about this.
Yeah, I want to hear that though. You just made
said it again. I missed the question.
The comparison between Oscar and Ryan that you just made. I hate when people make that comparison for several reasons. But tell me what the difference is in how Ryan handled that body shot and how you see how Ryan handled that body shot and how De La Hoya handled that adversity from that vicious body shot from the executioner. What's the difference in how those two gentlemen took it?
What do you mean took it? They both took it and they both didn't get up.
Yeah. How do you see De La Hoya's? We saw how De La Hoya's career.
The difference. Hold up. But the difference. I was hoping you say, well, okay. But the difference between them not getting up, it wasn't just what happened. We start hearing about the soap opera part. And I'm saying it's not true or it is true. The mole in the gym. This happened. Somebody got hit. Well, the whole professionalism or non-professionalism of, it seems, since things start coming out, and now the blame game, oh, we had somebody in the gym. He got hurt in the gym. He got that. So, to me, when you get hit in the liver, Roy Jones hit me. I know how that feels. I stood up, but it changed my game plan and I didn't win the fight. I didn't win the world championship, so I know what it can do. It can offset you. It can paralyze you. It can stop the fight, as we've seen it multiple times when that happens, when the fighter got hit. It's what you do after that I feel that the question is two-sided when it comes to, well, Ryan didn't get up, Oscar didn't get up. It was both body shots. That ain't the debate. The blame game and responsibility and ownership, that's the man.
That was my question.
Hold up. That's the man in Oscar. And that's the boy in Ryan. See, the boy and the man. We ain't talking about hair on your, you know what? We ain't talking about hair under your arm. That's pubic. We talking about how do you handle a situation of this magnitude as a man or as a whining boy, blaming everybody that you can blame based on some help from the closet. And you're making yourself look like a fool. But let me tell you something that's going to be really, really eye-opener to peoples like that and to Ryan, who's not unfortunate because he put it on himself. That's going to be the poster face of that mentality. He created it. When you create something, you better be cautious and careful that what you're creating don't destroy you. And right now, the suspicions of, I ain't gonna say half, but some, even fans especially, that's a tough hill to climb. You're gonna have to not only be a winner, but you're gonna have to impress. Every fight has to be a statement to the point where people will never forget what happened. And people lose big super fights, but they'll never forget that you blamed everybody, but you blamed yourself.
Facts, man.
And so when I see Goose and I see a lot of other people that was there at certain places, wasn't there at certain places, and then I see that the disrespect amongst the company that I've been involved for 20-something years.
Yep.
And that if you say that Golden Boy betrayed you, then you saying I betrayed you too. You don't have to mention my name. Am I part of Golden Boy? Yeah,
Yep.
Bernard. Do I have paperwork saying that? Yes. Do I have details saying that? Yes. Am I embedded in everything that goes on in Golden Boy when it comes to the business of boxing? Absolutely. Do I have my separate team from the CPA to the lawyer to the financial plan to this, that? Yes. So how they think out there in the world that somehow I'm just a face? Well, they know now that ain't the case. Because guess what? We're going to stand on our contract. Ryan got to stand on his.
Yep.
Bingo.
And so, hold up. Because I can speak for the company right now. A lot of this interview been speaking on what I feel and what I believe. But this statement is, we honor it all the way up to that fight. And we continue to honor it going forward. What's left? We're going to hold you 10 toes on that or stand on that. So, buckle down. It's going to be some goofy shit happening, talked about. But the goofiness is going to come to some kind of end. But I honor my promises over the years to the full extent that I could. And we look for the same thing.
Yep.
Bingo.
Before we get out of here, Bernard, man, like, that was great. Breaking down that situation. Everything you said was to the T. The things you did in boxing, not only in your career, but you did working with this company over 20 years. Anybody who question that, they are all fools. And I'll tell them to the face, they're fools. Now, last thing we want to talk about, Bernard, before we get out of here. We got the biggest fight in a long time coming up. July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada. We got Earl the Truth Spence Jr., 3-belt champion, versus Terrence Crawford, 1-belt champion. Before I ask you who wins, Bernard, which one of these guys reminds you of you? Not saying stylistically they fight like you.
A hell of a question.
But Crawford demeanor, Crawford.
Okay.
His demeanor, his approach on work ethics and how he stayed ready and don't get ready.
Yeah.
And he's disciplined. But I can say this now how I feel. Then the first time I heard this fight was going to happen, that was a few years back. I'll say these two. I'm leaning towards Spence because of his ability, not because of size or anything that some people are making, a big advantage, but no. Spence will suffer a lot of adversity through this fight. But this fight will go 12 rounds, but it will be a 12 round of a technical chess match that will have moments where it won't last, but the moments will, when I say don't last, it will be a lot of flurries. It will be a lot of exchanges in between the big punches that might come here or there or will come here or there. But I see Spence winning this fight by a very, very close decision. Arguably, people be asking for a rematch. This will be a fight of the sweet science at
Oh,
this
yeah.
level, at this era, this fight will come down like if Ray Leonard was fighting
Hitman Hearns?
the Cobra,
Okay.
Donald Curry.
Okay.
Mm.
From my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
You got two technical,
Shit, man.
more than one punch type of approach. They're coming with 3 or more out of the holster, out of the gate. This fight comes down to the most skill, the better plan, the better execution, the better endurance. This fight comes down to who can steal the close rounds when the fight is in the middle of the championship rounds, and that will be the winner. I see Spence by a narrow but close, hard-earned win over Crawford.
Any chance of a knockout? You see a knockout from any of
I
these
don't
guys?
see a knockout. I see flash knockdown or two, but not on both ends.
Yeah.
But I don't see. I see both guys getting clipped, but it was so fast, so quick, they got up just as fast.
Now, someone
Bernard.
want to ask.
Okay,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, sir.
Now, I was
Go
going to
ahead,
ask you
sir.
some. I'm freezing up a little bit. So, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Damn,
I'm good.
y'all hear me? All right, yeah. So, listen, the question I was going to ask Bhop is on the first day of the presser, we heard Errol say something about where my 3% money going to sanctioning fees. You've always been all about the fighter.
I've seen that.
I want to hear what do you think about that? What do you think about the platform Errol used to call out, the big sanctioning bodies, and where's that money going? What's your opinion on the whole thing? How Errol handled it, and then your opinion on where's that money going?
This goes back to an hour ago
Yeah.
about the commission. We need a commission, not somebody that's coming from that industry, putting the commission together because they're going to put things together that suit themselves. They're going to pick the people in there that they want to be in there. So to me, it's counterproductive. That's whether it's 3% or whether it's this or that. What boxing need now is a commission of former fighters that's intelligent enough, that's fresh enough and wise enough to be like the NBA, like the NFL. Am I right? Don't they have this? If something is wrong or accused of a player, they have a union, correct?
Players Association. Yeah, Players Union.
Why can't we have a fighters association? We can, but it's going to take balls, guts, and all above from the top fighters, whether they make more than the next fighters, but they have some credibility to continue to put their feet and elbow where it needs to be to get their attention. Let's deal with the percentage. I paid a lot of money to the IBF, having the belt for 12 years, making 20 defenses. Where is that money going? Listen, when Earl Spence said that, the first thing I said, brave, guts, and he gets it and most don't.
Facts.
If the belts are a symbol of greatness along with who's the champion, who's not, then why we need 4 belts in every division?
No, I agree.
Why? First of all, it should be, if the percentage is coming out of belt, which they are, then where's the legitimate outside, not tied in with boxing, for the half of that percentage goes for incidental bills, whatever, conventions every year, whatever, follow me. And the other goes to what? A fund to help, like soldiers get hurt or help, or people that had disability from working 9 to 5 for 30 years and they retired. Where is that fund going to support the fighters who they ain't spend all their money, or they need help? You gave them a Hall of Fame ring, you gave them a plaque, and you sent them home.
That's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
When Earl Spence said, "Where is the money going?" It reminded of a modern day Bernard Hopkins. Because I haven't heard that since I said it. That to me was gangster in a positive way. And to me, that was something to say that's an independent thinker.
Right.
I believe belts are relevant more than not, but I believe that it gets to a point where it shouldn't be only a small percentage of fighters who can negotiate what they can pay in sanctioning fees based on their status. You think Floyd Mayweather's paying 3% of $30+ million a fight? Hell no. I can tell you that. Or anybody else. So, what is the solution, champ?
I think my solution will be just go with what's recognized as the ring belt. But you know what? One thing I respect about you, Bernard.
Let me get mine in first about the ring belt.
Okay.
Because I want to let you go first because you will never get a chance to let me keep going. And again, you brought the ring belt up. I didn't. I'm glad I gave that little breather. I took a little breather. Let's deal with the ring belt. Don't you know these bloodsuckers out here? Even the one that be in the closet, don't want to be seen. Don't want you to know, they don't want you to know who they is. They want you to think the pudgy guy in the middle that's in the ring, right behind the ring announcer, they want you to think the pudgy guy is him. So, when you have, and it never corrected when they say, the pudgy guy. And he never says, I've been in the circle. He never says to them, I'm not him. He waved, because that's what they want you to think. But see, I'm in a process right now, systematically. See, sometimes you got to go in there and drag people out the closet by their feet or anything else that they're wearing. You got to take them out of the closet. And you got to bring them out of the closet to let them fend for themselves. You have to take boxing and look at it like this. If it's not going to be set up like the major sports in America, when it comes to unionizing, a next generation that had the spirit of Bernard Hopkins. Spence said it on the Instagram. They're going to be talking about it 20 years from now. This sport generates hundreds of millions of dollars. We all know. But it's the sport, the only one that I know of, that's left back in the 50s when it comes to doing business on the right, fair way for the athletes. And right now, up in Harrisburg, Bernard Hopkins, after the fight Saturday, will be headed up to Harrisburg, where I hit it up 27 years ago. Look it up. And talk to Senator McCain and Elliot Spitzer. Senator McCain is deceased right now. To talk about why boxing should be regulated and why the Muhammad Ali Act that they was putting together, my name and blood on that, look it up. Please, when we get off this call and anybody else is listening, look it up and see what Bernard Hopkins spoke on the Senate floor. They blackballed me for a year with 4 titles. Mandatory after Antoine Eccles, mandatory after mandatory. Listen, one thing for sure, I'm solid when it comes to that. They would never break me. They would never break me. They would never silence me. They know they lost already because I'm here. And they know I still can articulate yesterday just as well as I can articulate today. That's the fear. That's the fear. The fear is that I can captivate and continue to have the ears and the minds listening to what I say, because that's credibility. That's the fear, y'all. It ain't none of the other stuff. That's the fear. The other stuff, they tried to block it, but they couldn't stop it. They delayed it, but they couldn't stop it. And so I'll say this, for boxing to get respected from the big sponsorships that NASCAR is getting, that soccer is getting, we have to be respected in that era first. And then I guarantee y'all, corporate America will jump on board. Sponsorships will be off the chain. It will be just like NFL, NBA, NHL, because now they realize that they don't have to go through the BS with the promoters who's negotiating for themselves first. So you gotta remember, there are two negotiations. From the promoters that's been acting and operating like they was back in God knows when, way before Ali era. They negotiate for themselves. Then the fighter, if he got somebody that's really on his side and not quietly with the promoter, he basically by himself. The promoter needs to get somebody in the fighter's ear, and hopefully it's the fighter's brother, the fighter's manager, advisor, or anybody else. And then you got the slick advisors that they see the Muhammad Ali Act that I stood up for, with my name on it. Look it up. They know because of their education and they educated. They know that the bill that became law is not a full meat on the bones, but it's a little meat on the bones. Keep us quiet.
Yeah.
Being a guy of education and been in the entertainment business for many, many years, say, oh, we can get through. This only covers the promoter, manager. It doesn't cover advisor. It doesn't cover consultant. It doesn't cover your homie who's giving you information. Man, we can use this. So, okay, I just hire a guy with license, some experience, prop him up there, and I sit home in the closet. Oh, excuse me, in the closet. So, the Muhammad Ali Act, from my request to Harrisburg and my friends there outside of Pennsylvania, I'll be up there after the fight on a Monday. We should do a Zoom too, y'all, please.
Let's do it.
We should do it. Hold up, because I want y'all to see me up there in Harrisburg. Seriously, I promise. After the fight, I'll be up there in Harrisburg.
All right. That's good.
It's already on the calendar. Joy, you make sure. Listen. One of the topics, no secret. One of the topics is regulation, transparency on the realness, not the bullshit transparency, and how do we now structure to support Republican, Democrat, to put the right meat on the bone.
Damn, I love this. That's good.
To block the getting around based on title and hire somebody licensed to be what's been governed as a penalty, and you're not wrapped in it because you call yourself something that's not in the contract of the house, the bill. So I know it's going to be a lot of backlash. I know it's going to be a lot of people that's going to be afraid and scared, but what I've been doing in my career.
You've been doing the same thing you're doing now.
I'm here healthy. I believe y'all understand everything I've been saying the last hour and a half to two.
Crystal clear.
Coming in crystal clear, bro.
I'm going to make sure while I'm on this earth, fast approaching 59 in January 15th, that if they thought I'd done something in my boxing career, which I did, and I'm very proud of,
a whole lot. A whole lot.
before I see the grave or when I see the graveyard, I'm going to give much hell and do good for those who are not here yet. They can say that's my grandfather, or that's Bernard Hopkins. Yeah. The reason we in this position is because of it's the Martin Luther King, it's the Rosa Parks, it's the things that others in different situations, in greater situations, while we, you too, can do the things in most cities than we couldn't do before. Somebody had to take a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? What better person to take a chance is a chance taker who didn't care then, now that I got my own bag, and I'm going to do right by my own bag, and I'm going to stand on the principle, and I'm going to live off my interests, whether it's morally, whether it's business. You're going to stand, I'm going to stand on my principle. That's what I started with. And I'm going to live off the interest of that principle. Why do you think I ain't been back to prison as an inmate no more?
Salute, man.
Salute.
Everything else just fell in line with some challenges, but once I accomplished that, it was a wrap.
Yeah.
I fear no, and this is important, and we can end with this if y'all want to.
Yeah.
Why? Because I've been asked this in a way of this the way I took it, and they didn't correct me. But no, don't you worry sometime about the repercussions of others? I said if I was in fear, and if it was a law, I said I fear Allah. Allah is God to me. I fear Allah. I took my shahada. I fear Allah. No one but Allah. So when you that type of person that doesn't fear power because you have more of this, you have more of that, you have power, you have this, you have influence over this and that. That's what makes me different. When you challenge and you hold fast, and you might not make it. When you fear Allah, from my perspective, any Muslim, whether they're from Sunni Muslim or Nation of Islam, they stand on that. The true, real ones stand on that, and we will be tested on that in time. You can't find it. You can't look for it. You'll be tested whether you fear or not. Somebody can say something, and you can say, well, why are you doing this to me? That's not fearing Allah. That's fearing them because they got power to do certain things that they want to perceive to be your God, but they're not my God. When I fear Allah and understand that's the only person I fear, especially if we breathe the same air of oxygen and keep us alive. So what? I'm breathing the air in the Hamptons. You breathing the air in the ghetto. It's still air, ain't it? If you cut mine off and I cut you off, we both gonna die. So we do got something in common.
Love it.
That's what makes everything different when you go up against a battle with those who think and who do have power, but think you're gonna crumble because everybody else did. That's when you become different too. You become different. Like, how did he survive when you was victorious and all that type of strategy to others?
Yep. Haters want to know. The haters want to know. That's for sure. Well, Corey, do you have something?
No. I was gonna say we appreciate them coming on, man.
Yeah, man.
I see y'all in San Antonio.
Yeah, we'll see you in San Antonio.
See you in San Antonio, man.
We'll see you Monday for that Zoom call after Pennsylvania.
Yeah, well, that's after the fight.
Yeah.
That's after the fight. I'll fly back, then I got to be in Harrisburg.
You got to
get that bill. Listen, I got to get that bill on the table.
Whatever we can do to help.
Matter of fact, I want the person that's setting this up. I want to give y'all his first and last name and number. I don't want to put it on the air, but you ready?
Yeah. We'll talk. Yeah, we'll get it. As soon as we.
I can give it to you now.
No.
Yeah, we'll do it after. Yeah, I'll hit you right after, man. But yeah, dog, especially today being 4th of July, I know it's going to be a busy week, so we appreciate you jumping on and taking the time. And like you said, dog, big fight this weekend. We'll see you in San Antonio. I think a lot of questions will be answered, but once again, we appreciate you jumping on. Have a safe and happy 4th. Safe travels this week. Corey, got any closing thoughts?
Hey, man, Bernard, one of the greatest of our time, not only in the ring, but outside the ring. The epitome of what you stand for, we respect that wholeheartedly, and we thank you for everything that you do, not only for boxing, but outside of boxing. Thank you, Bernard.
Respect. Hit me up after.
I sure will. I'll hit you up right after this. Have a good one, man. Take it easy.
You too.
Mr. Wild TBA, let's take a quick break and then we'll finish up, bro.
It's here, real, Jay.
All right.
All right.
All right, listen up, guys. We're calling all Little League coaches. We're calling all middle school coaches. Calling all high school coaches. We're calling out all those team mamas. If you need team uniforms, if you need jerseys, accessories, whatever gear you're looking for the team, please check out our friends over at Elite Sportswear. These guys do it all, and they do it great. So if you're needing a brand new look for the younger athletes, for the teams, do me a favor, trust us with Elite Sportswear. These guys do all of our gear here at Spit Bucket Podcast, hats, shirts, hoodies. We could not be more pleased with them. So check them out over at thebetteruniform.com. You can find them on Facebook at The Better Uniform or on Instagram, Elite Sportswear 17. That's Elite Sportswear 17 on Instagram. Again, if you want your team looking super fly on game days, do yourself a favor, do the squad a favor. Call Roderick and the team over to Elite Sportswear ASAP. Let them know the Spit Bucket Podcast sent you.
Salute.
Yeah, check out our homies over at Elite Sportswear, thebetteruniform.com. Corey, great interview, dog. Great work today with the Hall of Famer, a legend on Independence Day. Don't get better than that, dude.
Man, hold up. Man, Bernard, everything with boxing needs to be about, It's a lot more things I wanted to ask him, but
we'll get to ask him
that on Monday. One thing we forgot to say, rest in peace to Antoine Eccles. He passed away on July 2nd. Bernard brought him up. Bernard fought him 3 times as a mandatory. And rest in peace to that guy, man. He was a real warrior inside that square circle. So,
no doubt, man.
Our condolences to his family.
R.I.P. to Mr. Eccles. Hey, any plans for 4th of July, Corey?
Oh, no, man. I'm finna just chill.
I got a question for you. If I had a gun up to your head and say, hey, you're going to have to go toe-to-toe with Joey Chestnut eating hot dogs. Homeboy ate 62 hot dogs just a little bit ago. How close would you come?
6 or 7.
In 10 minutes, how many could you eat?
7.
I don't think you do. I'm gonna hold you to it. We're gonna do a split bucket challenge.
Well, we're gonna have to do that. I don't know, maybe
7 hot dogs in 2 minutes.
I don't know, because they got them big long ass hot dogs.
Yeah.
I don't know. You probably right about 1 or 2 maybe.
You know my little choking ass ain't gonna get no hot dogs in. But cool,
hey,
great.
To the family, man.
Likewise.
I tell them much love from Mr. LTBA Correct. You know, Bradshaw, you know how we coming, man.
All right, dog. I'll see you later this week. Got a big weekend. Take it easy, homie.
Salute.
This is JJ Solomon.
This Correct Bradshaw, Mr. LTBA. Mr. These boys can't touch me on my worst day. And this is the Spit Bucket Podcast.